Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Gadigal people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Amanda Bauer. It's Tuesday, April 4. In Squiz Kids Today, farewell to a trailblazing Australian, a hirsute achievement, listening to plants cry, and a row into the record books. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
One of our country's most influential Indigenous leaders, Yunupingu, a man who fought his whole life for Aboriginal land rights, died yesterday on his country in northeast Arnhem Land at the age of 74. Yunupingu, whose name and image are being used by the news media with the permission of his family, was a trailblazing leader who gave advice to and met with every Australian Prime Minister since 1972. He didn't even see a white person until early childhood, but by the age of 20, he was translating in court between the government and his clan's elders as his people fought for land rights. Tributes for the Yungu man flowed in from around the country yesterday, with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese saying, "Yunupingu walked in two worlds with authority, power and grace." He's referring there to how Yunupingu was a deeply respected leader both at home on traditional land with his Gumatj clan and within broader Australian society. And he worked his entire life to bring those two worlds together. If we were to acknowledge all Yunupingu's accomplishments, we wouldn't have time for anything else on this podcast. But you should know that he was Australian of the Year in 1978, long before you and maybe even your parents were born. He also helped to start something called the Garma Festival, which is Australia's largest Indigenous gathering, an annual 4-day festival that the Prime Minister attended last year to work with Indigenous leaders, including Yunupingu, on the plan for the upcoming referendum on the Indigenous voice to Parliament. Yesterday, Yunupingu's daughter Binmila said, "Our father was driven by a vision for the future of this nation, his people's place in the nation, and the rightful place for Aboriginal people everywhere. There will never be another like him." I'll put some resources in your episode notes to learn more about this great Australian.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in a pub in the American city of Casper, Wyoming, where 69 men have broken a Guinness World Record for the longest beard chain. Now, if you're wondering what a beard chain is, you are probably not alone. Imagine someone with a beard that's at least 20 centimetres long. Okay, now imagine splitting that beard in half. One half goes to the left, one to the right. The tips of the beard are connecting to the neighbouring person's beard tip with a hair clip. Repeat until you have 69 beards connected and then measure. The previous record, set in Germany in 2007, was 19.05 metres. The new record, which was set at the American Beard and Moustache Championships, yep, that's a thing, is 45.99 metres. Of course, I've put pictures and even video in your episode notes. And here's a new word for you, hirsute. It means hairy, and it could be used to describe every single one of those 69 men.
Weird science.
What do you think that noise is? Bubble wrap being popped? Maybe microwave popcorn? Actually, it's the sound of a stressed out, unhappy plant, with the frequency lowered so that our human ears can hear it. Researchers in Israel have used an ultrasound machine to capture noises coming out of healthy plants and compare them with plants that were dehydrated or had their stems cut. Happy plants made about 1 click per hour. Sad plants, about 35. And although the noises are too high-pitched for us to hear normally, it's likely that bats, mice, insects and other animals exist in a world filled with plant sounds. Of course, plants don't have vocal cords or lungs. Scientists think that the noises are made inside the xylem, which, by the way, is a great ex-Scrabble word. Those are the tubes that take water from a plant's roots to its leaves. Air bubbles are more likely to form in the xylem during stress on the plant, and those bubbles could be responsible for the stressed out popping noises. Excuse me a second while I go and water my plants.
Believe it or not.
A Sydney woman, Michelle Lee, is on schedule to arrive in Cairns tomorrow. And the reason that's newsworthy is because the 50-year-old is arriving by rowboat, and when she makes land, she will have become the first woman to row solo and non-stop across the Pacific Ocean. Michelle set out from the west coast of Mexico in August last year. Just pause a second to take that in. She started in August. It's April. No break. Unbelievable. Michelle encountered hurricanes and cyclones, has seen majestic giant blue whales and watched flocks of migrating seabirds. After finishing her secret stash of Easter eggs 4 weeks ago, Michelle's final challenge is to navigate the tides, winds and currents of the Great Barrier Reef without chocolate. Besides seeing family and friends, Michelle says she's most looking forward to a shower, fresh bed sheets and a massive stack of pancakes. Hey, what about refreshing that Easter egg stash? She's just in time, after all.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What fancy H word means hairy? That's right, hirsute. Hirsute. Question number 2. Rower Michelle Lee set out in August from the west coast of which country? Well done if you remembered this one. It was Mexico. And question number 3. What is the name of Australia's largest Indigenous gathering, which was started by Yunupingu? You got it. It's the Garma Festival.
Shout outs.
It's April 4, the birthday of Australian actor Hugo Weaving, whom you may know as Megatron from Transformers, or Noah from Happy Feet, or Red Skull from Captain America, or Agent Smith from the Matrix series, or Elrond from Lord of the Rings, or Rex the Border Collie from Babe, Pig in the City. That's not even the whole list. Have a rest on your birthday, Mr. Weaving. It's also a very special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Rojar from Montmorency, Wisdom from Oran Park, Leon from Tamworth, Harley from Yarrowitch, Kane from Ivanhoe, Audrey from Perth, Alexis from Dacabin, Sienna from Adelaide, Lillian from West Pennant Hills, Condor from Mermaid Waters, Cobus from Ithaca Creek, and Clayton from Waitara. We are also sending belated birthday wishes out to Chris from Minto and Phoebe from Burpengary. And let's not forget our Squiz Kids classrooms. Shout-outs go to Class 5-6G and Mr. Patakos at Carlton Public School, Class 6S and Miss S at Narrabeen Lakes Public School, Class 5RH with Mrs. Rollerson and Mrs. Hallett at Carlingford Public School, Class 6G and Mrs. Garma at St. Joseph's Catholic Primary School in Chinchilla, and Class 5-6R and Mr. Raslin at Toukley Public School. A special shout-out to Miss Xantis and Miss Tattle from Middle Harbour Primary School, who are both celebrating birthdays today. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you want a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au, or even easier, fill out the form on our website. That's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.